Hello, I just wanted to show you some of the changes I've made. I haven't implemented any more sound into the project yet, but there were other changes I thought needed to be made to make the game more playable than adding sound for this phase of the project. So let me show you. So the game starts as normal. Player travels down, and you can see the normal area. So what I did was, if we fall down here, I added lights to the underside of the archways. That way the bottom section here is more illuminated so the player can see down as they're traveling around. And it doesn't make a lot of sense that the tops of the archways would be the only things illuminated. If people were coming from this way and traveling this way, you'd think that you'd light the bottom. So the bottom area is now lit. There was also an issue here. Originally the stairs would go over here and it was destroyed, and then you had to do a little jump to get over here. Well, I think it was just something to do with the BSP. It was occluding, and I couldn't just walk up the stairs. I'd walk up, and then it would just be like, "Oh, you're stuck," and I would have to jump and move around. So this fixes that problem by just letting you walk up the stairs. So we walk up, we get up here. I don't know what that is. We walk over here, and you'll notice that the door doesn't cause bloom effects anymore. I've reduced the illumination of the door so that it's less harsh on the eyes. I've also moved some of the lights around in here and added some more lights so the path can be seen. So we'll jump on here, move over here, and then you can see I've added a light on top of here so the player can see. Alright, well, we'll just run around, do that again. So we run over here, jump up here, go down here, and then as you can see, the player can see up here, and they notice that there's a section over here they didn't see before, and because this shares the material with the door, it's also less illuminated, so the player doesn't go blind when they walk over here and their eyes adjust. Look, door opens. They go on through. So we get on here. I haven't added anything in this section. This section was pretty good to begin with, so I've left it alone. Player comes down here, and you can notice that there's an orange. There's a purple orb at the far end. So it adds a little bit of character to that. You can see that this doesn't cause a blooming effect anymore. I've reduced the intensity on that as well. I made this purple to signify the red and blue combined together, and it adds and separates that from the rest of the level. So as normal, go down here. I've added more lights in here, so you can see the whole room. Go up here, put a light here so that illuminates a little bit. And I put a light here so this illuminates. So there's a little bit of a bloom effect there, but that's because it's supposed to be sunlight. We'll figure that out. So here, push it over, click. These come down. I've added more light over here, so this becomes more visible. More light over here. I've also added the materials to the rest that are in the rest of the level to these staircases, so they no longer stand out. Added more lights in this area. Added more light here. Added more light here. And then you go up. And in the blueprint for the chandeliers, I actually added a point light so that you can see the inside of it, and it's illuminated. So jump in. Go over. and etc. And of course you'll go to the end and all that stuff. So I'll just show you where I've added more lights. Here I actually added a texture too. So put some light in here so you can actually see in here now. And I put light in this hallway so it's not a big dark hallway. And jump on here. And I added more light in this hallway, so it's not big empty rooms of darkness anymore. And then, of course, light in here. So, illuminated this a little more. And I put a light up here so this stays illuminated. Then the player steps on this and they complete the level. So, or they fail and eventually the door will close. So they don't complete the level. Alright, so I'll show you that if the player moves diagonally, you hear footsteps. If they move diagonally this way, you hear footsteps. If they move diagonally this way, you hear footsteps. And diagonally this way, you hear footsteps. So the way I did that was the player originally in Vector Math Super Fun Time, originally it just checked to see if the values of the player going forward or going left were greater or less than 0. However, if the player is moving right and going backwards, then the value is 0 when you add them together, because it is +1, -1. So you add those together, you get 0. If they're moving forward and to the left, based on these vectors, then the value is 0, and it is obviously not going to work. So what I did was I said forward vector minus right vector, and then if the forward vector is positive, and so if you add them together and it's greater than or less than 0, then play the sound. If it's not, then I want you to check to see if the value is equal to 2 or equal to -2. And the way I get that is 1 forward, and so if you subtract the left vector, which is negative rotation or movement, then 1 minus -1 is 2. So 2. If forward is negative and you subtract 1, which is going to the right, then you get to -2. So Vector Math Super Fun Time. So that's what I've got going on here, and this has not changed. So that's what I've got, and thanks.